God, I hate when it does this shit.
Yo, episode 6, pre-LLama show. AD, Roman2raww. The GOAT himself. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. How are you, my boy?
And I'm a little hot, dude. It's hot all around this planet right now, dude. We're burning up.
All burning up for sure, brother.
Anyways, man. New week, new us. You know, last week's performance on YouTube wasn't well. So if you're here watching this on YouTube, hit the fucking like, comment something, share it, do something, man. We're out here hustling. We could be selling your kids crack, but we're not. We're doing
so giving them the good word.
So what'd you see this week that interests your fancied your pickle a little bit?
I would say we go ahead and kick it off with this new documentary that is on Netflix. Would you be able to pull up the trailer now?
You want? No.
No. Okay. So, just to put it in a nutshell, they're following Marcus Mariota, Kirk Cousins, and Patrick Mahomes in the 2022-2023 season, last season, which is pretty big because Kirk Cousins made a valid attempt to make a run. Pat Mahomes obviously went to the fucking Super Bowl to win. And Marcus Mariota, he's just struggling over there on the Falcons. But it goes into depth, kind of like Hard Knocks, and kind of gives you that behind-the-scenes look of what these guys go through on a day-to-day basis, whether it comes to training, media, family life, the whole nine.
Yeah.
And guys like Patrick Mahomes, you could see how much you can see behind the scenes on how much football takes up their lives, for real. I know you've seen the trailer. What do you think about it?
I saw the trailer. I mean, I'm just a sucker for like sports docs. I like the behind the scenes. You see the mindset of like players. You see why, like, especially like a person like Mahomes, like it gives you an insight on why he's as good as he is.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, it's intriguing to me. I definitely want to check it out. But my thing is, are they gonna keep doing this with different teams, or are they gonna follow like similar people, you think?
What is that, Netflix?
Yeah.
I could see Netflix doing something like that. Excuse me. I feel like it would be a pretty good opportunity for Netflix because that is such a big avenue, NFL content. To bring it to Netflix is crazy because I mean, last I've heard of Netflix doing any type of release, if you will, was the Chris Rock comedy special.
Yeah, but that
following
was like
up the whole.
Ago.
Nah, just a couple months ago.
That was like a year ago.
No, it was just a couple months ago. I'm telling you.
That was like when I first started at this restaurant. So like last August.
No, then you're not talking about the same one. It was Chris Rock. This was I want to say right around Super Bowl time, which was about March, something like that. But yeah, so Chris Rock did a comedy special, and I believe it was the same day as I think it was the same day as the John Jones fight or something like that. Like I know there was a big fight that was going on that same weekend, and I didn't really get too many. Like they got a couple clips because he was talking about the whole Will Smith slap thing, or whatever. But I don't think it really did numbers like that.
Yeah, but also Chris Rock, who his comedy is not hitting like it was, dude. It's not hitting like Will Smith, yeah. So I mean, that's a terrible judge. Like, if you did like a popular comic who's,
but I'm just saying in the aspects of Netflix and what they've been producing as of lately.
Yeah, but I mean, they still got Stranger Things. Like every time Stranger Things comes out, it does numbers every time. In the last season's coming out. I think I don't know when, but I know the last season was in production. So when that comes out, that's just gonna do numbers. What else they got? They got like some. It's now their movies. They like did like movie with The Rock, fucking Gal Gadot, and I think somebody else, Ryan Reynolds, maybe, or somebody. Not Ryan Reynolds, but they did a movie that like was a big budget movie, and it kind of didn't do as many numbers as they thought. So like, I see your point, but I think the Chris Rock argument is kind of just, it's like, bro, what other things is Chris Rock doing that's really getting heat? You know what I mean? Like, literally the biggest thing in his lately has been the Will Smith slap, and even like his special, like talking about it, it was already too late. Like by the time he released it, you know what I mean? I think the slap and when he released it was like a year apart. Maybe that's where my timeline is. Of like when he released the special and when he got slapped, I think was like around a year apart. So it's like the heat on that, it's already dead. You know what I mean? If you would have dropped the special early on, maybe 6 months after it, you might have caught something, but nobody cares about that anymore, you know?
Yeah, but that's my opinion, and this is just me. You guys could differ opinions. But like Netflix has kind of lost its flame to me as far as following and being the main platform for movies and shows right now. Like I would kind of say HBO Max is leading the pack right now with series and movies and stuff like that. And Stars and HBO Max. They got Stars has BMF and Power. Power's kind of, I feel like, reaching its plateau with all these. No. Really? I haven't got too far into the series.
I watch. I am a religious Power. Whatever series is on, I'm watching every week. That shit ain't losing. It ain't losing it. But Stars is definitely not helping it. Stars is not putting the eyes on it. Now, the thing is with HBO, like I thought about this after you said this earlier, but HBO's been like that though. Think about all the shows HBO's always had: Sopranos, Entourage, Game of Thrones.
But Netflix has been there as well, because Netflix, there was a time where
again, I gave you an example. Stranger Things. It's still competing with those shows. You know what I'm saying? Like now they might not have crazy other shows. There's just too many. There's too much competition at this point. Like they're not. At one point they were the premier streaming thing, and they're not right now. But they're still posting shit that people are watching, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. There's always gonna be a series that Netflix drops that's gonna get eyes. It's just you can't compare. I think the HBO argument is just like, bro, HBO's been doing this. They've been doing these kind of series before these series were popular. Like when you think about
before the streaming apps, really.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Sopranos, early 2000s. Entourage, early to like mid 2000s, late 2000s.
But like Netflix was in their bag when they started coming out. Walking Dead, Orange Is the New Black.
They came out, but those, I think Orange Is the New Black but Walking Dead was on TV before Netflix. It was on AMC.
Yeah, it was on AMC, but I want to say they were like a couple seasons in, and then like everybody, I want to say that everybody, at least I knew and I was around at that time, was binge watching Walking Dead on Netflix, and it was kind of like a Netflix thing. And then, of course, Stranger Things came along. I started to watch that in the beginning. I never really stuck to it. Was another one.
You know what? I'm going to pull up right now.
But I think with all that being said, the opportunities maybe that Netflix is creating for itself with the NFL could be big for them.
I mean, that's just a big market, and that gives you. It's kind of like, oh, you got, bro. You see, like that shit Wednesday with Jenna Ortega.
Yeah, I heard about it.
That shit was everywhere. That show you everywhere. Yeah. They got those like fucking weird like dating shows that be doing kind of numbers, and people actually be talking about them a lot. So it's like they got shit. It's just not. I mean, again, the competition right now is. The competition's gotten bigger, so it looks like they're not doing as much as like when they were the first streaming platform, and they were the only. It was Netflix and chill. You know what I mean? Now it's you just come over, you watch something on streaming. That's what people are doing. You know what I mean? Whether it be HBO, like I pay for Stars by itself just because I don't want to miss Power. You know what I mean? Like I pay for Stars the whole year just because of that. Like I know throughout the year there's gonna be either BMF new season or one of the Powers gonna have a season. I'm sure there's like, I know my girl pays for like Showtime for like Dexter and shit like that. You know, so it's like it's kind of like, and it's almost like when they do like the shows like The Office and shit.
Yeah.
Like when they be selling the license or like the rights to those shows every so often to different places, because the people are gonna pay the back because they know that's the kind of TV that people are gonna like binge. You know what I mean? So it's like with those properties going different places as well, like you know, it opens up different streaming apps. So again, it's just the competition getting bigger.
Robin and Hendog actually had a good take on the doc series. If they were to go the route of, instead of doing quarterbacks, they did like behind the scenes for point guards and stuff like that in the NBA. I think that'd be pretty dope as well.
Yeah.
Let's see. We can get straight into the UFC fight if you want.
Oh yeah,
That's
look up
gonna be a decent card coming up.
Gonna be a really good card. I want to get just in the groove of talking about UFC a little bit more. UFC 292. It's in Utah.
In where?
In Utah. Oh, it's
Oh,
not
Utah.
I lied. It's not 292. 292 is O'Malley. It's 291. Wow. All right. Yeah, so UFC 291. Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier 2. They already fought before Dustin beat him. It's for the BMF belt, which it's like you can have a take where it's like, do we like the BMF belt? Like, it's kind of cool, but are we gonna keep like doing this non-real belt shit? You know, it's kind of like WWE-ish. But also, I mean, if you can get two people like this who probably they're on a way, like, to be honest, this is a contender fight for the belt, right? For 155. Whoever wins this is gonna fight for the belt, but the other one may or may not get another chance to fight for the belt. So having the BMF belt on the line kind of like, I don't know, gives them their moment, I guess, again.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm not saying that either of these guys can't lose this fight and get back in contention right away. You know, one nice knockout, one good finish will get them back just with their names alone. But just in the grand scheme of things, like, Justin Gaethje's been hinting at that, like, he doesn't know how long he has left. You know, Dustin Poirier, same shit. Like, they're getting older. These are two guys that go to war.
Justin Gaethje, he isn't bad. I've watched his past couple fights.
Oh no,
he's a solid fighter for sure. And Justin Poirier, that's one that just fought Izzy, right?
No, that's Pereira.
Or is it somebody else? Pereira. Oh, okay.
That's the main co-main. I don't know if it's a co-main, but that's the fight leading up, and that fight's gonna be interesting because it's Jan Blachowicz, who has fought Izzy when Izzy moved up. He was the champion and he beat Izzy to retain the light heavyweight belt. Now fighting against Pereira, who's bigger, who has more power than Izzy does, just in terms of like can put somebody's lights out. So it makes this fight a little interesting because, again, they both have the same common opponent in Izzy. They both beat Izzy. So you can sell that kind of aspect of it, like that story. But also Pereira moving up from 185 to 205, it makes him like a real contender because he immediately has the best stand-up in light heavyweight division. Best stand-up and maybe just as much power as anybody in that division. Can knock anybody out. And at 205,
we almost seen it in that Izzy fight. I mean, even though Izzy, quote unquote, played possum,
I think he did.
You know what I'm saying? I believe it, but there was a couple of times in that fight where Izzy did get stunned. He got rocked a little bit, and he had to move a little bit more smart because that type of power behind that punch is crazy.
Oh yeah, I mean, but that's with anybody, and that's what makes him going up to 205 interesting because now we may get the Izzy him rematch in light heavyweight if he can find a way. And what also makes this fight interesting is that Jamal Hill, who is the light heavyweight champion, stepped down because he had an Achilles, like a ruptured Achilles, I believe. So he no longer has the belt, so it makes it vacant in that division. Now Yuri Prochazka was the champion. He got hurt and he vacated the belt. So the last two champions have gotten hurt and left the belt without them losing the belt, you know?
Yeah.
So now the belt's open. This fight's happening. There was like a typo on the UFC shit that got out that said that this was for an interim belt, which I kind of assumed it would be. But then they like quickly was like, yeah, it's a typo. Like this fight's not for interim. So I do think that whoever wins this fight is in line to fight for the belt next. If this is not the interim, there will be a fight for the belt, and they'll probably fight Prochazka because he's coming off injury, I believe, or he should be coming off injury in the next couple months.
And just to confirm, we're talking about the light heavyweight with Pereira and Blachowicz.
Yep.
And going in, Pereira is actually the favorite. But I haven't watched Blachowicz too much, but
Jan's the favorite.
He's a beast.
Jan's the favorite.
Nah, I got here. It says the odds is Pereira plus 115.
That's the underdog.
Oh, you're right.
But
you're right.
Jan should be the favorite because he is the quote unquote. This is his division, and Pereira's moving up. You know, but that's still pretty close, and it's probably gonna get closer as time goes. Because the thing is, again, Pereira. I mean, we've seen what he did. Izzy is one of the best we've ever seen, or at least I've ever seen, in terms of stand-up. And Pereira matches that, especially in the octagon. And he's been training with Glover Teixeira, who is a heavyweight champion, who does have strong ground game, can teach him a lot of things. Like, you gotta think, Pereira just came to MMA like Izzy did. When Izzy came to MMA,
yeah,
you know, like Izzy lost to Pereira in kickboxing. Yeah, he lost to Pereira in kickboxing, and Pereira kept fighting in kickboxing because he was the guy. Izzy came over. Look what Izzy has done. Pereira he got blessed because Izzy was the champion, so he got fast forward. He would have to, normally he would have probably had to fight maybe 5-6 fights before he got to the, especially at that rate.
Yeah,
but he only got 3 fights before he fought Izzy twice. You know what I'm saying? Like, he got fast tracked. But now this is him actually, I think, in my opinion, him stepping into the game of MMA and really like, now we're going to see what he's going to do without the Izzy thing. Now, the Izzy fight, if he does become champion, Izzy can move up, fight him. That's going to sell. And again, you know, so it's like, eventually Izzy will have to move up and we might see that fight again. But that's what makes this fight interesting. Again, the fact that there's no champion now and the belt's open. So this fight means a little bit. I mean, it was already like a big fight, but now it means a little bit more. Because if Pereira goes out and knocks this guy out, bro, easy champ. Like, easy, he's going to fight next for the belt type shit. And the guy he would fight, Prochazka, nasty on the feet, really unorthodox. So it'd be like, to be honest, somebody's getting knocked out in that fight. If him and Pereira fight, somebody's getting knocked out first round, easy.
All right, so let's go ahead and close those two up with what's your pick on Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje?
Oh man, I don't want to pick officially, but I'm leaning towards Dustin on the first fight, Pereira on the second fight. What are you thinking?
Okay, just because I like the underdog aspect, I'm gonna go with Justin Gaethje.
Okay.
And then we'll go into Jan Blachowicz and Alex Pereira.
Yeah, I got Pereira.
Pereira?
I think he's knocking him out, to be honest. I don't think he's like what he did with Izzy, like wrestle. Like he didn't try to and I think he's gonna try to be smart again. But I think Pereira's just gonna be ready for it because now we already seen what Jan's plan would be against an elite striker, and Pereira's bigger than Izzy, so it's not gonna be as easy to keep him down. And also, I think even if Izzy fought Jan again, I don't think it would go the same way. You know what I'm saying? Like, just with that information of like how he's going to attack it. So I see Pereira knocking him out, honestly. I see Pereira stuffing a couple takedowns. And, I mean, again, we said it. He has power. What are you thinking?
Once again, I'm going to come out with the other side. I think I'm going to go with Jan on that one.
Yo, you know what we should do?
Pereira, I feel like he kind of... This is just my opinion. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I think Pereira losing that fight to Izzy may have kind of been like a reality check. I mean, coming in and with Izzy kind of being the underdog because of what happened in the light heavyweight, and Izzy putting him away the way he did, it could kind of, you know what I'm saying, mess with somebody's mental to where Jan could come in and make it happen. Maybe. You know? But we'll go down into the middleweight.
Jan's the favorite though.
Yeah.
Yo, you know what we should do though? We'll do a bet. We'll place like a little bet for like the show. You know what I'm saying? Like during the week or something, and then we'll see what happens on the fight. I'm down to do that. All right, but go ahead.
We'll go into the middleweight. Paulo Costa versus Ikram Aliskerov. Right.
So this fight
is from Mother Russia.
This is crazy because I believe this Ikram guy is new.
But he looks like one of Khabib's boys.
Oh no, definitely from that side of the world. He's definitely from that side.
They all got the same beard, bro.
Literally, bro. They got the same stylist.
No tattoos. The fucking the chops on the side that don't connect to the mustache.
All right, this is what we're gonna do from the rest of the card. We're just gonna give our guesses after we talk about them. But this fight's interesting because Ikram is one of those guys. All right, so Paulo kind of like got this fight. He pretty much got this fight like, I don't know. I feel like the UFC's feeding this Ikram guy Paulo Costa because he's a big name, and I mean you see he's the favorite right now in the fight, and he's very new. Like Paulo Costa is ranked 7. This guy's not even ranked. So think about it.
So Paulo Costa's kind of he's been fighting for a minute now, right?
Yeah. I mean, he hasn't. His last fight, he looked all right, but before that, he lost to Izzy. There was like a couple hiccups.
I mean, that's not a bad record. 14-2-0.
No, he's good.
11 wins, 1 knockout, 1 win by submission, and 9 first round finishes.
Oh, you're talking about the Ikram guy?
No, Paulo Costa.
Yeah, but Paulo Costa is like, bro, ranked 7th in the middleweight in Izzy's division. You know what I'm saying? That's a division full of killers. But the guy Paulo has a chance to knock him out. Has some good ground game, good enough to finish him on the ground. I just think again, it feels like the UFC's feeding this guy Paulo for the name. Gets him in the top 10 because if he beats Paulo, he's definitely getting number 7 at least. You know what I'm saying? Gets him in the top 10, gets his name out there. It's kind of like that stepping stone. And for Paulo, it's a big fight because it's like, yo, you need to put this guy away because it shows you where you are in the thing. And now I do think Paulo picked this fight because he was saying he was going to move up. So some weird things on this one. I don't know too much about the other guy, but I do think if he's as good as the UFC thinks, he's going to beat him, you know?
I would agree on that one. Them guys from that side of the world, they do not fuck off.
This is their time.
They do not fuck off.
This is their time.
So we'll go into the next one, which was kind of my favorite one of the night. Tony Ferguson versus Bobby Green. And we got Tony Ferguson as the underdog.
By a lot.
And we got Tony Ferguson with a record of 26-8-0.
This is my sleeper pick right here.
And Green with a record of 29-14-1. No contest.
Now,
Bobby Green's last fight was no contest, and Ferguson's last fight was a loss.
Yeah, Ferguson's been getting knocked out and beat. Ferguson's on the downslide. There's no doubt about it. That's why, look at the odds right now. -325 for Bobby Green, plus 255 for Ferguson. That's a huge win.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's a big win if Ferguson can pull it off. Now, I am going to pick Ferguson in this fight, even though I like Bobby Green. Bobby Green has slick stand-up. I just don't want to see Ferguson keep going down. You remember the Michael Chandler fight? You remember that? I think we had a stream. But Ferguson got front kick to the face. Front kick. Knocked out, bro.
Jeez. What a way to go out.
Do I have to show you, dude? I'm going to have to show you.
Oh, you can show me.
I'm going to show you this, dude. We're going to have to watch this. This is introducing a nice little show with me and you. Yes.
So we got Tony Ferguson, 13 wins by knockout, 8 wins by submission, and 9 first round finishes. And Ferguson's last fight. Okay, you're talking about versus Nate Diaz?
No, Ferguson lost to Nate Diaz.
That's what I'm saying.
But before that, he lost to Chandler.
Oh, and that's when he got front kicked.
That's when he got knocked the fuck out, brother. You're about to see.
That's when. Ooh.
Ready?
I'm ready.
You ready, Freddy?
Might want to put it on main screen on your screen, dude.
Yeah, give me. I don't know what's going on with my fucking thing now.
All right, this featured bout at lightweight.
Boom. All right.
Runs him over. Head on.
We gotta be quick though, because they will.
That's a lot of swelling on that right eye. Yep. But honestly, that was a
Oh my God! Jeez!
Yeah, Michael Chandler. Dude.
And does a backflip.
Michael Chandler, dude, like
backflip celebration.
This is the down.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. After a fucking front kick knockout like that. Now
I
at that
still
point,
have enough energy to do a whole backflip.
At that point, though, Ferguson was ready. Like you could tell, Ferguson's like a little slower, not moving as like because Ferguson's unorthodox when he fights. You could just tell like his shit's not working the same. And then that fight happens. Then the Nate Diaz fight, which I don't remember exactly how it finishes, but Nate Diaz wins. And like it was never like Nate Diaz is gonna lose this fight. You know? That was Nate Diaz's last fight in the UFC, by the way. Before he did now, you know, he's about to do the Jake Paul shit.
Yeah.
So anyways, I like Bobby Green. I do think Bobby Green might win, but if I'm gonna bet, I'm gonna bet on Ferguson because it's such a you know what I mean? Like he still can't he's on two losses, but he still can knock somebody out or put somebody away. Like he's creative and like even though like people get older and shit, there's still that craftiness, you know, like
yeah, and they both with both their records, they've been fighting long enough to.
And Bobby Green's also
really
older too. It's not like he's like Chandler. Like Chandler's still in his prime. You know I mean, Chandler's fighting for a belt, and that's what he did. Bobby Green. I'm not saying Bobby Green's not good, but I don't think he's not fighting for a belt. You know what I'm saying? He's not fighting for the contention. So I don't know. Good fight though. I mean, it's definitely potential fight of the night too. I can see that fight just going the distance, like being a war.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's like one of those like sleeper fights. You'd be like, oh shit, yeah.
If I were to take a guess on that as is right now, I'd probably go with Tony.
Huh?
Just because I'm kind of a fan a little bit of Tony.
I don't think that's a wrong pick though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it could be anybody's fight.
Yeah,
it really can.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's especially like where it's at in the card. Like, it's still kind of high up. You know. Now, the next fight I'm very excited for. Michael Chiesa versus Kevin Holland.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Michael Chiesa, he does like sports commentating. He's pretty good. Michael Holland, I feel like this is Michael Chiesa's on his way out as well. So I think this is a gift for Kevin Holland because I don't know if you remember, and it actually is funny enough, on that card with Nate Diaz, Tony Ferguson, or whatever, right? There was a switch up that happened. I don't know if you remember this, but basically, Tony Ferguson was supposed to fight Kevin Holland, I think, right? Mm-hmm. And then, oh man, honestly, I would have to like look it up and remember exactly what happened. But they basically right before the fight started, it never happened before, but right before the fight started, they switched three fights. Kevin Holland had to fight, I think, who did he fight? Islam, I think, or he fought a wrestler. He fought somebody, Hazmat Chimaev, the good, like the nasty guy.
Yeah.
So basically, Kevin had to fight Chimaev. Tony Ferguson ended up fighting Nate Diaz. That was the last fight, obviously, you know. And then the other person had to fight somebody else. Like it was like a switch up. Yeah. And Kevin Holland got dominated. He got out wrestled like immediately. There's like a famous thing where he went for a dap, and Chimaev like faked the dap, and then went and took him down, finished him from there.
Oh, dirty.
Yeah, it wasn't not nice. So I think this is like the UFC is like, here's somebody who's gonna bang with you, give you a good fight, and also like you should be able to beat. You know, like at least that's how I look at it. So even though like Chiesa still has a chance. He's a dog, and also this what's Kevin ranked? He's not ranked.
Kevin,
He's not ranked. So this gets him in the rankings. If
yeah.
so, you know. So again,
Michael being ranked number 12.
Yep.
So, I'm gonna go with Kevin Holland on that
yeah,
one.
I'm going Kevin Holland as well. Kevin Holland as well.
I really don't care too much for the next one.
Steven Thompson, though. Wonder Boy. You don't know Wonder Boy, do you?
I don't.
Yeah,
I'm very curious about this Derek Lewis versus Marcos. I mean, he's not even ranked, but
Derek Lewis, man,
another on Dean Klein with that last fight that I seen of him getting. Yeah, he got put out real early. In my opinion, he got stopped too early by the he got knocked out in like less than a minute.
Yeah, but
but I feel like he got robbed by the ref.
Not only but also you got to understand who he's fighting. Spivak, the polar bear. This guy is on a tear right now. Pavlovich.
The Marcos Rogerio.
No. I'm talking about who Derek Lewis has lost to. No. Spivak, nasty. On the come up, like looked really good. Pavlovich, who some people say can beat John Jones, like has the skill set to beat John Jones and the power, not skill set, but the power to beat John Jones. Tuivasa, who knocks people out. You know what I'm saying? Like he's fighting top level guys. Before that, he beat Dawkins. He had lost to Gon, remember that, for the championship. And he beat Derek Lewis before that. I mean, no, he beat Curtis Blades before that, who's also a top guy. So the last, 1, 2, 3, I mean, every fight's a top contender. And he's just getting beat by guys that are a little bit more skilled than him. You know, like show more skill than him. He has the power to put anybody out. Now, I think this is one of those fights again where it's this card, honestly, from just us talking through this card, it feels like this is a card that's like some gatekeepers that have been here that can lose their fight and lose their spot. That's what it kind of feels like. Besides Gaethje and Justin, those guys are solidified.
For a lot of these guys that are trying to get ranked.
Yeah, like that. That's
so
what
they
it
can
feels
start
like.
being in those conversations.
That's what it
for
feels
contender fights and so on and so forth.
I mean, besides the Gaethje fight and besides the Bobby Green Ferguson fight, I feel like that's what this fight is. Same like Chiesa. You know, I mean, Kevin Holland's already a big name, but him to beat Chiesa, get ranked, that's huge. Again, Wonder Boy is one of the best stand-ups. He has like a karate style. He's nasty. You know, another one of those fights. This guy, I don't know, but I don't think we should sleep on Derek Lewis either. So I'm gonna go Derek Lewis on this one. Knockout first.
I agree. I want to see Derek Lewis win so he can say some raunchy ass shit on the post fight interview.
Other than that, though, I don't care about the rest of the card.
Yeah, me either. I do want to touch on 292 just a little bit. 292. A little bit. We're not gonna go down the line, but I mean, we're gonna talk about this main fight. A little bit.
I mean, next couple weeks or whatever. Next week's fight is gonna be crazy. But 292, I mean, 292 got a card, man.
Yeah, I just want to touch on. Oh, excuse me. The Sterling and O'Malley fight.
Nah, this is hard though. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, the Sterling and O'Malley fight. A lot of people will say that, you know, O'Malley won because of his momentum that he's been having.
Yeah.
And it ended up going to decision, and they gave it to him in decision. But to go and fight Sterling is definitely gonna be, if not his biggest fight yet. Because this guy Sterling, he's been fucking kicking ass and taking names.
Fucking shit up, bro.
You know, everyone they sent his way, he's put him out one way or another.
He's making a claim to be the best in bantamweight like history, and like if he does, he's going up no matter what. That's the thing.
Yeah,
he's made it very clear. Like this might be his last fight, and even O'Malley understands. Like, you got to understand, like, it's a fight business. They're prize fighters. O'Malley right now is the biggest star that they have. I'm talking about just in general. You know, like last week on the canvas, he has a collab he's doing called Sugar Sweat. I forgot what the company he's doing it with, but the thing is called Sugar Sweat, and they had it on the canvas of last fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's massive. Yeah. That is massive. No fighter does that. Maybe Connor Proper 12, having the Proper 12 sponsor. But other than that, like, come on, bro. So I think Sterling, if not for O'Malley, would have went up already. You know what I mean? Helped his body. He didn't have to do a weight cut because I watch a lot of his. He does content. I watch a lot of his content. He does talk about like his weight cut a lot. So I don't know, man. It's interesting. Like, again,
I mean, but given that, you know, even if the weight cut is a hard thing for him, he's not showing it at all with these past couple fights. Really, I'm super impressed by him. I really think not many fighters that are fighting today could put this guy away. He's just that good.
Yeah.
Sean's definitely gonna have to do his homework. Definitely gonna have to train his ass off if he's gonna even come close to putting this guy away.
Yeah, I mean, that's a given. But
you know, this is not one of those fights that he could look to maybe even take a decision. He's gonna have to do some spectacular shit. He's gonna have to pull all the fucking tricks out of the hat.
Yeah, I mean, his last fight, people give him like criticism, like maybe Petr Yan beat him. I don't think so, but at the same time, like, it was a close fight, you know, and that's like that level. So I think a Petr Yan fight levels up Sean and prepares him for this test. But I think the biggest thing is gonna be like, Aljo's gonna try to, like, this is at least in my head. He's got to stop Aljo from getting to the back or get out of a situation where Aljo's on the back to get the confidence. Because I think if Aljo gets on his back more than once, it's over, right? Like, guaranteed. I mean, if he gets out one time, spectacular.
But even the stand and bang with him is also another task at hand.
No, but O'Malley's definitely a better. Yeah, but O'Malley's better at stand up, and like, he's really good at managing distance. He's the better stand up fighter, 100%. But it's, I don't know. Like, again, Aljo has been defending his championship. He's like people are sleeping on Aljo, but he's been defending the belt. I mean, let's go through it right now, actually. Aljo.
I mean, I can respect your opinion, but in my opinion, I feel like from what I've seen from him, even on his feet, he's a threat. He's a fucking threat to Sean O'Malley, who, and I'm not taking anything away from him, but I just think Sterling is a very complete fighter all the way around. He's nasty on the ground and standing up.
No, he's good. He's good standing up. So he beat Yan because he got the belt by the disqualification, right? He's defended the belt 3 times against the guy who everybody was saying that was winning. He beat him, Yan, right? Because Yan was winning the fight and just got himself disqualified, right? So that's how Sterling gets the belt. But then he comes back and beats Yan, then beats TJ Dillashaw, who is, like, they consider like one of the best in that division, like champions, prior champions. He beats him convincingly. Now, Dillashaw was hurt. Dillashaw was coming off suspension, all that shit. But Sterling beats him convincingly. And then Cejudo, who puts up a good fight, but also you look at it and it's like, yeah, Sterling won that fight. You know what I mean? He's beating people who were legends in this division on his way of holding the belt 3 times already. So it's like he's defending it 3 times. That gives you kind of like a level up in terms of like confidence, you know, like it's like I am the champion. Like, yo, these niggas ain't fucking with me, you know? And I feel like that's how Sterling is. Now, of course, it benefits the UFC to do this. Like, Sterling was saying he wanted time off. You know, like he was saying, like, yo, I need some time, like, but they rushed this fight in Boston. And like, even like they told, when he defended the belt, they told O'Malley that he was gonna fight in Boston beforehand. And that kind of made him mad. Sterling like, yo, what's up? Like, I'm the champion. But it benefits the UFC if O'Malley's the champion. You know, like it does. And of course, we can talk about it. We can break it down more once the fight like gets closer.
Yeah, as we get
Couple weeks
closer.
but I don't know, man. I like O'Malley, so I want him to win. But Sterling, Sterling showing how good he is, and it's like it's tough.
I got Sterling win that fight, and I'm calling that very early. We can touch on too that I've seen in the media with the post fight of Duplessis and Izzy. I don't know if you've seen that.
Of course, I've seen.
But even why I wanted to touch on it was Dana's response to it, and I was fucking with it.
Yeah.
They were trying to do. The media was doing what the media does, and kind of twisting Izzy's words, like saying that he was trying to be racial, and I don't think that was it at all.
No, he was 100% was trying to be
racial.
Yeah, bro. What's going on? So the whole thing was Duplessis from South Africa, and he's saying, "I want to be I'm the real South African champion." He's like, "Had they even brought the belt because there was like 3 African champions? Like, have they even brought the belt back to Africa? Blah blah blah." And in South Africa, there's a thing called apartheid, which is like basically the Dutch. It's basically like their version of our slavery. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not too like familiar on it, but that's a thing there. And that's why, like Izzy was saying, like if you did a 23andMe, he's like, you'll find out where you're from. He's like, I know where I'm from. Like there's like there is racial undertones, and I think it's just kind of fucked up. Like it's almost like us being from Florida. I don't know. I live somewhere else, so like that's like if somebody was like, you're not even from Florida, you're from Colorado. Like shut the fuck up. I was like, yeah, shut the fuck up. You don't know my shit. You know? But it's just obviously. I think Izzy was lit that night. So like him going on the mic saying nigga repeatedly looks bad. And like you could just see I personally don't like how like everybody got so uncomfortable with the race topic. Because it's like it's blatant. That's what it's about. But like they're all like, oh, I don't want to touch on it. Oh, ooh, apartheid. Like one guy was like spelling it out like they didn't want to say it. Like they're just being like real like I don't know. It's that racial thing, but of course, like us being brown men, I feel like it affects us a little bit more in terms of like we know what it's like when like a white dude says some racist shit that we kind of feel a little bit. At least I do.
Yeah.
So I think that's what Izzy was going through, and it just played out in front of everybody. Like because it's like the dude telling you you're not a real African champion. It's like, oh, I'm the real African champion. It's like, no, bro, like you're not. Like yeah, you might be from there, you might live there. Like the same argument that Duplessis is making towards Izzy, I think. You can make the same thing.
It's the same thing, vice versa.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, you were born there, but because your people colonized my people. You know what I mean? Like, that's why you were born there. You really aren't from there. So it's like you could do the same thing. Now, will this help sell the fight? Of course. Will they keep pushing on it? Maybe not, because again, it makes them like that's what I noticed. Like the media was uncomfortable with this topic, bro. Like
no, but I feel like they kind of wasted no time to kind of run with it a little bit, which the media does that.
I mean,
but
it gets
feel
clicks.
Like Dana did a good job of shutting it down early. I mean, I felt like they're kind of trying to stir some shit on Izzy. Like if Izzy, I really feel like there was nothing wrong with what he said.
No, I mean, but again, all right. So what people are mad at is him saying the N-word mad times. That's what like. The people are, but for us, it's normal. You know what I mean? It's like,
I'm right with Data. I'm like, he's black. So what?
No, when Data said that shit, had me dead. No, but it's true though, because it's like that's just his talk. You know what I'm saying? Like I know,
say whatever he wants.
No, for sure. And again, like they're trying to be like Izzy's a fucking businessman or like he's a fighter, dude. Like he's the best fighter in the world. Like he's gonna talk shit. And now again, it just made people uncomfortable. Even like I was mad at DC because like DC has like called. There's like a clip of DC calling John a nigga, and John's like, "Oh yeah, what are we gonna use the N-word?" Oh, you know what I mean? Like trying to play that card. And like DC's like, "Nah, that's where I'm from." But now when Izzy says it, he's all like, I don't think he should have said it. Blah blah. It's like, oh please, like when you're mad, you don't give a fuck, right? Like,
no, but he was going off. He said, "What's up, nigga? What's up, nigga? What's up, my African brother?"
He said, "I'm African, but I'm not your brother." now people,
I'm no brother of yours.
I'm no brother of yours. But what people were calling him out on, which I respected, was that they're like, "Well, you talked all this shit, but when Izzy was in front of you, bringing that energy, you kind of froze," which he did. Like, he kind of was like, "Oh shit!" Like, fuck.
I mean, you have no other choice. Granted, you just came up off a win, but Izzy wasted no time. Wasted no time. Was in that man's chest checking his temperature. And his temperature was 98.2. Nothing out of the norm. Nothing out of the norm.
No, he was cool, calm, collected, brother.
Oh, God.
Izzy approached him with the N-word and he froze like, I can't touch that. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I felt like in the moment. Now, he
did all he could. You know, African brother of mine. He did all he could, bro. I'm not your
brother. But I think that's how the fight's gonna play out. Like, you gotta understand, Izzy is a great. He really is, right? And now people are like trying to be like, Duplessis was the underdog against Rob. Now I picked him in like betting, and I also picked him beforehand to beat Rob, just because I know what Duplessis is. Like, I've seen him, I watched this shit. Like, I see when somebody's really good. I don't think he's beating Izzy, and it's not my bias towards him, but I just, in that, unless like he levels up, and then, because again, this fight is supposed to happen like quick. Like, they're trying to get this fight like rolling. You know what I'm saying? So like, they're talking about the next. After that, they're talking about like the next 9 weeks type shit, which is crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, these niggas got to get in a fight camp. Like, which it helps Izzy if it does do that, because Izzy didn't have to do 2 fight camps. He had a little break. Now, like I said, the way he was like, he had like a lot of bravado in his voice, even in the post conference. Like, he had like a little bravado. Like, you saw how Izzy was looking out there. Like, I'm the bigger man. And it's like, nah, bro, you froze. It's like everybody watched you freeze, bro. Like, he came at you with some energy you weren't expecting, because even if like you kind of knew he would be in the, because everybody kind of knew Izzy would be in cage side, and knew they're trying to do this bring him in the cage type thing now lately. So it's like everybody kind of knows that's gonna happen, but it's like, what are you gonna do? Like, Izzy came at you with some energy.
Not for nothing, it makes for good fights.
Oh yeah.
It really does.
This fight's gonna sell.
The aspect that I just like so much about Izzy is he plays that mental game, that going in the cage and saying these metaphoric things. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're kind of they're kind of verbatim, but there's still like a metaphoric undertone behind it, and that's just the type of game he plays. And he's going into fights, it's like all here. He's definitely skill, physical, all that, but a lot of his fighting skills is mental. You know what I'm saying? He goes into a lot of fights, and like just how when he beat Pereira, when he beat him, he explained it as, I'm the antagonist in his story and he's the antagonist in mine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To even think like that is just way different.
Yeah, but I mean, Izzy says it a lot. Like, he's like, I'm player one. He's like, that's how I live my life.
Thing, yeah.
But it's like, he's like, that's how I live my life. And there's like a power to it. And like, really, I think Izzy's biggest opponent was Pereira. Like, coming back, he lost, which it was like the biggest fight. Like, it's going to be hard to beat Izzy. Like, Duplessis has to like catch him with something that just puts him to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think he's going to outskill him. I don't think, like, yeah, he's strong. Yeah, he has the power. Yeah, it's going to probably be a dog fight. It's going to be a great fight. But I think Izzy
the odds were definitely more in Pereira's than it was in Duplessis.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Again, it's recency bias. Like people, the only person to beat Robert Whitaker the last couple years was Izzy until Duplessis. You know, so like there's a lot of like people like he might do it. Like look what he did to Rob. It's like yeah, well, also Rob, even though Rob looked all right in this fight, Rob got caught with some shit. You know what I mean? Like Rob got hit. Like he got put out. Like it is what it is. Now, again, it's gonna sell. This is good tension. I like it personally. I like the because I love the build up to the fights as much as anything. Me personally, that's just one of my favorite things. Like I love watching the interviews and the shit talking back and forth, and then when they get on the press conference and you see the kind of energy. Now that's gonna be interesting. Like when they have a press conference, like what kind of shit talk. Because I guarantee he's gonna try to like again boast his chest out, especially when they're in the same areas. You know, they're closer to a fight. He's gonna try to act like he was, but I really do think like the fight's gonna go like it was in that
he's gonna get in his head, bro. When it comes to the interviews, he's gonna get it in his head. Yeah, you have no other choice because he's just like again, he's just that type of guy. That's his thing. Yeah. He likes to get in people's head. He holds his poker face better than anyone else, in my opinion. Because even going into the Pereira fight, everyone was really 50-50, maybe even favoring Pereira a little bit, you know, because of the kickboxing history. But through that, he kept his poker face on and kept his confidence 100% there in the media, in the fight, to where he not necessarily that he's hiding it, but he doesn't allow all that outside to affect, you know what I'm saying, him personally as a fighter. You know, let all that stuff give to him, which is really easy to do when you're on that big of a platform.
Yeah. I mean,
now you're champ, all eyes on you, you know what I'm saying?
He's been there.
And
that's the thing, he's been there this whole time. Yeah,
keeping that energy that he has is just really good for him. And
even on his journey, right? Like he picked like a fighter like Yoel Romero, like a scary fight that people weren't picking at the time. You know what I mean? And I mean, obviously after Yoel wasn't looking the same, but at that moment it was kind of like, what the fuck is he doing? Like you could have a way easier fight than this guy, you know? And he's been doing shit like that this whole time, even the Duplessis shit. He said before the fight, because you know, again, I watch all the shit. He said, "I want this guy to win because I want to show him where he's actually from." Like he said this months ago, right? He's like, "I want to show him where he's from." He's like, and Robert Whitaker, like, if he wins, yeah, whatever. I already got a plan for him. Like, I don't give a fuck, but I want this guy to win. And that's why when he went in the cage, he was like, I manifested this. Like, these are things he's already fucking preparing for. Like, it's going to be hard for Duplessis to beat him. Like, it just is what it is. And now if he does, impressive. And this guy might be the real deal if he does. But, I don't know, man. Like, again, when you see the Pereira shit, Pereira already having the kickboxing history on Izzy, coming here, beating him, taking his belt, and Izzy automatically get... That's the thing. Izzy could have went, fought somebody else, got a tune-up fight, got his head off of it for a little... No, he said, I'm back in the fire. You know what I mean? I want to fight this guy fucking again. I want my belt back. Boom, gets that shit. Like, how do you really break a guy like that?
And the way he did it.
And the way he did it. Yep,
super convincing.
Yep. Oh, no. Like, he paid him back. Like, he said, I could beat him, and he beat him. Flat out. Put him on his back. Hit him with the celebration. Like, that's the thing. Izzy is just too good. It's just true. Izzy is as good as, like, John Jones is. Like, Bird will never be like, Izzy, he will never say that. But, like, when you think about just legacy and, like, yeah, John's never lost. But at this point, like, also Izzy came from a different background. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can make the argument that, of course, John never lost, so he is the greatest. But I'm just saying, like, what Izzy does in the octagon is as special as what John was doing, especially in his run. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just all part of the story. And if Izzy goes down and puts this guy's lights out, again, sets up a Pereira match, because if Pereira goes to 205, does his shit, gets the belt, Izzy continues to be the guy here, we're going to see that fight at 205. And, like, again, what does that fight happen? That's the thing. Pereira's always going to be Izzy's biggest challenge. the Duplessis guy, to me, at least looking into it, is just a stepping stone, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. You got any final thoughts on that?
I'm not gonna touch too much more on it, but Duplessis definitely has his handful.
Yep.
Definitely gonna have to fucking come with it mentally, physically, the whole nine, because Izzy's just one of those guys that he's gonna get in your head pre-fight. B, during the fight, is gonna stay calm and collected. After watching the Pereira fight, there was a lot of times that Izzy was a little rocked. You know what I'm saying? He was losing the momentum of the fight, and he still was able to stay patient enough and set up that knockout. You know what I'm saying? And it was a vicious knockout. Only time will tell, and I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, it won't be for some time, but again, I mean, we talked a lot about UFC today on this episode, but fights are looking good, man. Next couple of weeks, so we're gonna be on tune. Like I said, we might do a pre-LLama show parlay for the boys. You know what I'm saying? We'll see what it does. If we win some money, we put it back in the channel or something. I don't know if I can know. So definitely, I want to call it here though. We're about to pull up on an hour, nice little hour, easy hour, bro. It didn't even feel like it. You know what I'm saying? Like
straight UFC talk, dude.
Yeah, because we just go into it. But episode 6 pre-LLama show, R2R, the GOAT. AD,
the Crothers.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, shout out to Crip, man. Yo, you want to react to that before we go?
Yeah, we can do that. Yo,
the Crothers.
That was clip of the week. Easy. That actually topped the whole Adam 22 lean of the plug. Fuck that. That right there, Crip Mac. Gotta love it. Gotta fucking love
Crip Mac Island Boys.
Ain't no Island Boys. Those are Custer Boys.
I want to see what fucking
Island Boys.
All right, let me share this. This is what we're gonna end this. But episode 6, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit that like fucking button, dude. What are you doing? What are you doing? Comment,
share this with your friends, your mother, your grandmother.
They all love it, dude. They all fucking love it, dude. Promise you that. Right.
Trying to make it. So, you motherfuckers really care? Kiss each other in the motherfucking mouth like a bunch of weirdo motherfuckers care? Hey, y'all brothers kissing each other in the mouth. Y'all might as well fuck each other in the ass. You goddamn Custer ass motherfuckers. Y'all make me sick, hood. Y'all do that type of shit. Now that's Custer activity right there.
Custer activity. On hood.
On hood. No respect for your brother. Or you respect for your brother. You kiss him in his mouth. You might as well roughly fuck him in the ass. Look what you're doing. You are a sick motherfucker. Ain't no Island Boys. Y'all Custer Boys, cuz. Scrawny.
Yeah, he's a respect for your Custer. Don't have respect for your Custer. You kiss him in the mouth. You'll probably fuck him in the ass. What? Yo, Big Llama in the chat with the AD. God. Yo, clip of the week from the pre-LLama show. We might have to start that segment every week, bro. Shout out Crip Mag 55.
Like a bunch of weirdo motherfuckers. Hey. Yo, the way he says motherfuckers just sends me every time.
Oh my god. All right, yo. We out this bitch. Episode 6 pre-LLama show.
Great episode.
Like, subscribe. Hey, we consistent out here, man. I agree. Another great episode.
We're gonna keep it coming all year long.
All over your mama's face.